Hello friends, welcome to Seeker Academy. This is module 6 about AZ-900 Microsoft Azure Fundamental Certification Real Exam questions. In this module, I am going to provide 20 more real exam questions and concepts. So let's begin the AZ-900 exam question number 71. Note, the question is included in a number of questions that depicts the identical setup. However, every question has distinctive result. Establish if the solution satisfies the requirements. The question starts from here. Your company's developers intend to deploy a large number of custom virtual machines on a weekly basis. They will also be removing these virtual machines during the same week it was deployed. 60% of the virtual machines have Windows Server 2016 installed, while the other 40% has Ubuntu Linux installed. You are required to make sure that the administrator effort needed for this process is reduced by employing a suitable Azure service. Right here, the developers, right, so the deploying the large number of custom virtual machines on a weekly basis. So the service which we need here, the deploying the custom virtual machines on a weekly basis, right? So the solution over here, you recommend the use of Azure reserved virtual machines. So does the solution meet the goal? So Azure reserved virtual machines, the cloud service has been reserved for a dedicated use on a 1 or 3 years basis. So this is not the solution is not doesn't meet the goal, right? So because we need the solutions that deploys the custom virtual machines on a weekly basis, but the Azure virtual machines, uh, reserved virtual machines, uh, is dedicated right now to have a at least minimum 1 year and 1 year to 3 years basis, right? So the right answer is option B, no. AZ-900 exam question number 72. The question is same. The solution, provided solution is here. You recommend the use of Azure Dev Test Labs. So Azure Dev Test Labs is a service for easily creating, using and managing the infrastructure as a service, right? So that creates the virtual machines, right? And also platform as a service and platform as a service environments in labs. So here the right answer is here option A. So the solution meet the goal. So the right answer is yes. AZ-900 exam question number 73. Note, the question is included in a number of questions that depicts the identical setup. However, every question has a distinctive result. Establish if the solution satisfies the requirements. Question starts from here. You have been informed by your superiors of the company's intentions to automate server deployments to Azure. There is, however, some concern that administrative credentials could be uncovered during this process. You are required to make sure that during the deployment, the administrative credentials are encrypted using a suitable Azure solution. Solution is here, you recommend the use of Azure Information Protection. So does the solution meet the goal? So Azure Information Protection Cloud Service helps you to discover, classify, protect and govern sensitive information wherever it lives or travels, right? So Azure Protection also provides the encryption service. So the right answer is here. So the right answer is here B. AZ-900 exam question number 74. The question is same, but the provided solution is here. You recommend the use of Azure multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication is a process in which users are prompted during the sign-in process for an additional form of identification, such as code on their cell phone or a fingerprint scan. So, and this is not being used for the encrypting the credentials. So the right answer is here option B, no. AZ-900 exam question number 75. The question is same and provided solution is here. You recommend the use of Azure Key Vault. So Azure Key Vault is a cloud service for securing, storing and accessing secrets. A secret is anything that you want to tightly control access to, such as API keys, passwords, certificates or cryptography keys. So does the solution meet the goal? The right answer is yes, right? So the Azure Key Vault is the cloud service is used to store the credentials, and it is also it stores in encrypted data. So the option is yes. AZ-900 exam question number 76. Your company plans to automate the deployment of services to Azure. Your manager is concerned that you may expose administrative credentials during the deployment. You need to recommend an Azure solution that encrypts the administrative credentials during the deployment. So what should you include in the recommendation? A. Azure Information Protection. B. Azure Security Center. C. Azure Multi-Factor Authentication. D. Azure Key Vault. So the right answer is D. Azure Key Vault. Right. So Azure Information Protection, Azure Security Center, and then MFA. These are all not encrypting the credentials. Right. So not being these services are not providing the encryption of the credentials. So the only Azure Key Vault, which is used to store and encrypt the credentials. So the right answer is D. Azure Key Vault. AZ-900 exam question number 77. Which Azure service should you use to store certificates? Right. So here service which we need to store the certificates. The right answer is option D, Azure Key Vault. So the Azure Key Vault, which is a cloud service for securing and storing the and accessing the secrets. So which will store such as API keys, passwords, certificates, all other certificates. This service is used in Azure. AZ-900 exam question number 78. You have an Azure virtual machine names VM1. You plan to encrypt VM1 by using Azure Disk Encryption. Which Azure resource must you create first? Options are an Azure storage account, an Azure Key Vault, an Azure Information Protection Policy, and Azure an encryption key. The right answer is an Azure Key Vault. Right. So here you plan to encrypt the VM1 by using the Azure Disk Encryption. So the right option, Azure Key Vault, which is used to encrypt for the encryption. Right. So the right option is Azure Key Vault. AZ-900 exam question number 79. To what should an application connect to retrieve security tokens? The options are A, an Azure storage account, B, Azure Active Directory, C, a certificate store, D, an Azure Key Vault. So here we need the service which will connect to retrieve security tokens. So the Azure Key Vault, which is used to store the security tokens, right? To retrieve, to accessing these tokens and to store the security tokens. The right service is here option D, an Azure Key Vault. AZ-900 exam question number 90. This question requires that you evaluate the underlying text to determine if it is correct. Azure Key Vault is used to store secrets for Azure Active Directory user accounts. Instructions: review the underlying text. If it makes the statement correct, select no changes needed. If the statement is incorrect, select the answer choice that makes the statement correct. The options are A, no changes needed, B, Azure Active Directory administrative accounts, C, personally identifiable information, D. Server applications. So the right answer is here D. Server applications. So Azure Key Vault, which will the cloud service which is to store secrets and access these secrets, but it is not storing the Azure Active Directory user accounts, right? So the right answer is server applications. So AZ-900 exam question number 81. Your company has virtual machines hosted in Microsoft Azure. The virtual machines are located in a single Azure virtual network named VNet1. The company has users that work remotely. The remote workers require access to the virtual machines on VNet1. You need to provide access for the remote workers. What should you do? A. Configure a site-to-site VPN. B. Configure a VNet to VNet VPN. Configure a point-to-site VPN. Configure direct access on a Windows Server 2012 server virtual machine. Configure a multi-site VPN. Here the right answer is configure a point-to-site VNet 1 point-to-site virtual machine, right? So the right answer is C. AZ-900 exam question number 82. Note the question is included a number of questions that depicts the identical setup. However, every question has a distinct result. Establish if the solution satisfies the requirements. You are planning a strategy to deploy numerous web servers and database servers to Azure. This strategy should allow for connection types between these web servers and database servers to be controlled. Solution is here you plan to require Azure multi-factor authentication. So does the solution meet the goal? The multi-factor authentication is a process in which users are prompted during the sign-in process for an additional form of identification, such as a code on their cell phone or a fingerprint scan. So this is not used for the encryption, right? So does the solution meet the goal means option B. Answer option B, no. So AZ-900 exam question number 83. The question is here is same. Solution is here. You plan to include a local network gateway in your strategy. So local network gateway is a specific object that represents your on-premises location for a routing purpose. You give this site a name by which Azure can refer to it. Then specify the IP address of the on-premises VPN device to which you will create a connection. So does the solution meet the goal? Means the right answer is B. So this solution does not meet the goal. AZ-900 exam question number 84. The question is same. Provided solution is here. You plan to include network security groups in your strategy. So does the solution meet the goal? The right answer is A, yes. So network security groups from Microsoft is an excellent option for protecting virtual networks. With the help of this tool, administrators can easily arrange, filter, direct, and limit various network traffic flows. You can set different inbound and outbound rules to allow or restrict specific types of traffic when establishing Azure network security groups. So this solution meet our goal. So the right answer is A, yes. AZ-900 exam question number 85. You plan to extend your company's network to Azure. The network contains a VPN appliance that uses an IP address of 131.107.200.1. You need to create an Azure resource that defines the VPN appliance in Azure. Which Azure resource should you create? To answer, select the appropriate resource in the answer area. So the services here, NET gateways, application gateways, local network gateways, virtual network gateways, on-premises data gateways, Azure data box gateways, Azure stack edge and data box gateways, web application firewall policies. So here the right service is local network gateways. AZ-900 exam question number 86. You have an Azure environment that contains multiple Azure virtual machines. You plan to implement a solution that enables the client's computers on your on-premises network to communicate to the Azure virtual machines. You recommend which Azure resource must be created for the planned solutions. Which two Azure resources should you include in the recommendation? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. So note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. The options we have: A, virtual network gateway; B, a load balancer; C, an application gateway; D, a virtual network; C, a gateway subnet. Here the right answers: A, virtual network gateway, and E, a gateway subnet. So a virtual network gateway is composed for two or more virtual machines that are deployed to a specific subnet you create called a gateway subnet. Virtual network gateway virtual machines contain routing tables and run specific gateway services. So these VMs are created when you create the virtual network gateway. So the right answers are A and D. AZ-900 exam question number 87. Your company plans to move several servers to Azure. The company's compliance policy states server names FinServer must be on a separate network segment. You are evaluating which Azure services can be used to meet the compliance policy requirements. Which Azure solution should you recommend? Options are: a resource group for FinServer and another resource group for all the other servers; B, a virtual network for FinServer and other virtual network for all other servers; C, a VPN for FinServer and a virtual network gateway for each other server; D, one resource group for all the servers and a resource log for FinServer. Here the right answer is B, a virtual network for FinServer and another virtual network for all the other servers. AZ-900 exam question number 88. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. The answer area here: you plan to deploy 20 virtual machines to an Azure environment. To ensure that a virtual machine named VM1 cannot connect to the other virtual machines. So VM1 must. So the options we have: B, deploy to a separate virtual network; run a different operating system than the other virtual machines; be deployed to a separate resource group; have two network interface. So to ensure, here the question says that to ensure that the virtual machine named VM1 cannot connect to the other virtual machines. So the right answer is VM1 must be deployed to a separate virtual network. AZ-900 exam question number 88. Your Azure environment contains multiple Azure virtual machines. You need to ensure that a virtual machine named VM1 is accessible from the internet over HTTP. What are two possible solutions here? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Options we have: A, modify an Azure Traffic Manager profile; B, modify a network security group; C, modify a DDoS protection plan; D, modify an Azure firewall. So the right answer is B, modify a network security group, and D, modify an Azure firewall. So these two are basically Azure network security group, right? Groups from Microsoft. It is an excellent option for protecting the virtual networks, right? This and this will, by using this we can set the different rules, and we can also set the type of restrict these specific types to control the traffic, right? So it and also Azure firewall also it works the same. So the right answer is B and D. AZ-900 exam question number 90. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Answer area, the statements are: you can associate a network security group to a virtual network subnet. So the options we have yes and no. The right answer is yes, the virtual network security groups. We can associate virtual network security groups to a virtual network subnet. And the next statement is here: you can associate a network security group to a virtual network. So the right answer is option no, right? So you cannot associate network security group to a virtual network, because you can set only for the, you can associate network security groups to virtual subnet or the interfaces, but not to the virtual network. So the right answer is B. The next statement is here: you can associate a network security group to a network interface. So here again the answer is yes, you can associate network security groups, NSGs, to a network security interface. With this we completed the module 6. If you like the video series, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.